Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's What's the Deal on Newsmax TV. It's your weekly dose of sanity, where we bring a Republican, a Democrat, and an independent, and we talk out the issues of the week. Recently, the Democratic National Party said that they're going to have their convention in Milwaukee. That'll be decided at the 2020 convention, and Tom Perez, DNC chairman, selected the Wisconsin city over Houston and Miami. It's the biggest city in a swing state that was won by Donald Trump because Hillary didn't want to get her out there, and Trump got out there in the last days of the campaign. What should we read into this when the Democratic Party says, oh, damn, Hillary didn't go to Milwaukee, Trump won Wisconsin?
Selecting Wisconsin is largely symbolic to the points that were already raised. We have always counted on Wisconsin as an easy Democratic win, and because of campaign decisions, we lost it by 1% to Trump in 2016. So I think that the selection the DNC made has been sending a message that, number one, the Midwest is in play. We're not taking any states, particularly the Midwest, for granted anymore. And two, this is almost like a do-over. We're going back to a state that we didn't campaign in as we should have, and really basically sending a message saying we're coming, we're recording the votes, and the Midwest is in play.
So 2020 is a do-over year, in your view, for Wisconsin at least. But the House of Representatives passed a resolution last week condemning hate and bigotry. They couldn't identify Ilhan Omar's exact statements and condemn Jewish bigotry, but they made a macro. And some people said it would have been more narrowly targeted as a resolution opposing anti-Semitism. The president this week also criticized the Democratic Party as anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic. Does the Democratic Party have a Jewish problem?
Absolutely not. I think the recent, I guess, very public fight within the Democratic Party has reflected the diversity of our party. And I think that, you know, the comments that were made and the resolution that was initially supposed to try and target Ilhan Omar, Congresswoman from Minnesota, and the controversy in having that resolution move from just targeting her to more of a broader
Let's knock out all hate.
Right.
Let's not worry about what she said. Let's just say all hate is no good.
Right, and I think that again was a direct reaction to, you know, fighting back from the left side of the party, saying we can't target criticism of Israel and necessarily lump that as anti-Semitism. At the same time, you know, I think that Speaker Pelosi is in a new situation because this is a brand new congressional members. There's a lot of energy, and there are a lot of different lived experiences and different perspectives. And I think that that's what the most recent fight reflects in terms of the Democratic Party.
Ilhan Omar, this is her second, maybe third time that she's singled out Jewish people, Israel, etc., with anti-Semitic remarks, and they can't even zero in on her for any penalty. Just say, hey, everyone, we're all going to say we hate hate overall.
So 2 points of distinction. Number one, Steve King has years and years of history of making very
Ilhan Omar does
controversial
not.
remarks.
She doesn't. My question is, she doesn't?
So my question is, I think that's a matter of perspective, which reflects, I think, the differences in how people across America think, right? So there's part of America that thinks that her remarks reflect critiquing Israeli policy, where there's another part of the country that believes that she's being anti-Semitic. And so I think that, again, the question is, you know, is she or isn't she? That depends on, I guess, who is doing the asking. But again, that reflects, even within the Democratic ranks, the breakdown within the party.
But I asked you a question. Doesn't she have a long history of anti-Semitic remarks before she was in Congress?
Not that I am familiar with. I am most familiar with the recent remarks that she has made while she has been a public figure. If she has made remarks before she was in office of that, I am not aware. I am not aware of that. My understanding is that these remarks have been while she has been in office as a new Congress member.
In announcing their debate criteria, the DNC indicated that Fox News would not be permitted to host a single Democratic presidential debate. Some say the network is propaganda for the Trump White House. I say MSNBC, CNN, and a host of others are Democratic propaganda against the White House.
You are fake news.
Sir.
Go ahead.
Others are saying that this move is short-sighted by the DNC, and at a time when the party needs to reach more swing voters, should the Republican Party say we're not holding any debates or discussions on CNN or MSNBC?
I think that's up to the Republican Party. I think this is a situation where...
Well, you're a strategist. I'm
Yes.
asking you, do you think the Republican Party should retaliate and say, we're not coming on your network?
No, I think the role of any political party would be to reach as many voters as you can. And whether that means going into the lion's den, if you will, then that means going to the lion's den. And so I think that, it is unfortunately a lost opportunity for the Democratic Party to reach people in Michigan, to reach people in Ohio. But I understand that the key reasoning for that was, again, because the DNC believes that Fox has a close relationship with the president.
I watch MSNBC in the morning to try to get myself excited, to get so mad at all the crap that I think they're selling to America. And I call it Morning Joke because I get a good laugh out of Morning Joe. But when I look at this stuff, I'm like, nothing is absolute in life, right? So how can you get up every day on one network and not ever say one single thing good? Like the president has a nice tie on today. I like that tie. Or the employment numbers were great last month. I hate him, but he did good on the employment. How could it be? Because we're taught, like as kids and as brothers and sisters and as spouses, and we're taught nothing is absolute. But when you turn on MSNBC and CNN, it's 100% Trump negative. Does he not do one thing right?
Well, I think the same could be said, about, any other conservative or, conservative-leaning outlet. You have your audience. And so I think that, the cable media reflects, I think, the current political environment of where we are as an American electorate. It's very much us versus them, and it's very polarizing. And so there really is not a lot of space to have those conversations to meet in the middle and really think through. We may disagree with 80% of each other's perspectives and frameworks, but let's begin with that 20% that we can agree with and try to work towards some type of policy solution for functioning government.
On What's the Deal, as the host, executive producer, I like to try to get a whole bunch of different views on and let people talk about it and let our audience at home hear all the perspectives. Many in the Democratic Party have called for impeachment. Now Nancy Pelosi has pulled the reins back a little bit and said, you know what, I don't think we need impeachment. I'm not sure about it. It's divisive. Everybody was on the impeach train, and now Nancy is like the adult in the room. What's happening?
So there's the theatrics of politics, and then there's the act of governing. And so I think that the Democratic Party, under the leadership of Speaker Pelosi, is beginning to realize that there's a decision that has to be made. Do we want to be sidetracked, with the news of the day of what Trump said or what he's about to do or what he is about to say, versus the really the difficult and long, hard work of governing, of being effective in the legislative body on Capitol Hill. And, I think that when we're talking about impeachment from the campaign trail, it makes for cheers and applause from a certain group of people. But at the end of the day, our elected officials were elected to be effective. And, the talk of impeachment is to take away from the act of governing and passing bills and working in the highest levels of our government here in America to making sure that we're passing bills that help the American people. And I think that to that point, a decision was made from a strategic perspective of, do we want to, shake our fist versus let's just get to the work of governing.
I want to thank you both for civil debate and discussion. And I hope you'll come back and be on What's the Deal. And if either of you from your high perch as strategists in the Republican and Democratic Party can talk to either party about a debate right here on What's the Deal, we'd love to have you.